This is the first job I ever had coming to California. I taught people how to surf out here. I got paid to teach people how to surf. So it was unavoidable that I got into making surfboards just after that. And we made them right here. This is the oldest commercial structure standing in Mission Beach in San Diego, California. And I had friends pass away in this building. We were there for a lot of years. Started shaping right there. People go out of business. And it's not often in a convenient moment in life. So we had to shut the doors. And it's not the first business that I've lost. You know, that surfboard business went out too. When Black Monday happened and they shut down the Clark foam manufacturer. So these days I fix things for people mostly. And I'm pretty good at it. You know, could be guitars, door jams. I'm good with automobiles. Old cars I'm best at. Just got so difficult, you know, to keep up with the videos. Doing like 12-hour days, sometimes 7 days a week. And you do what you gotta do to survive. And this world's really struggling right now. So you gotta be willing to adapt. But here's the thing. I couldn't be happier. And here's a reason. You know, I've been performing live since I was 6. I started out in theaters, like 1,200 person theaters. You know, singing into a microphone by myself. And I've been doing it, and there's a lot of ups and downs between this moment right now as I'm recording this and that moment there where it began. Where for the first time I felt as though I had worth. And a lot of those times, you know, I felt like I was being dealt out, like I was done, like there was nothing left. So I let go of a lot of want to express myself, you know, to be heard. To know what my voice sounded like, not when I was trying to sing like somebody else, but when I was genuinely sounding like myself. I let that go. And in a way, I kind of grabbed onto life and tried to direct it the way that I thought it should go, the practical way, the safe way, the way that people told me was the most probable to succeed. And in that way, it was kind of like Alan Watts, you know, talking about trying to control everything is like trying to hold water still with your hands. You're so desperate to try to make sure that things go exactly the way that you feel that they should. And in doing so, you only disturb things further. And sometimes you just got to take your hands off. So that's what I'm doing now. I've taken my hands off. I'm just a leaf on the river. I'm doing things that just come natural to me. And fixing things always came natural to me. And I love fixing guitars too. And I still work on them. I just, you know, it's like one every couple months. And it's usually not something too fascinating. And it's certainly not something that I feel is worth your time. But it does introduce an interesting problem. For reasons that I don't understand, and an age that isn't typical, it seems to be that these performances are starting again and that there's an interest there and that people seem to really like it. And I'm being shown just slightly right then and there that this is a good thing, that what is transpiring in my personal life right now is helping move me forward. Because when last I talked to you, I was in a really bad way. Just a few hours after that video was posted, I was almost in a really serious car crash. And it woke me up a little bit. And I had to take some time to think about a lot of stuff. But now all of a sudden it's just kind of working, and I can't explain why. Other than to say that I am a very fortunate person. That what typically occurs with me that I see as some sort of great tragedy is just something I don't yet understand. But I'm moving forward, and we're all moving forward, and then we're all going to have to deal with some elements of change. It's not always the most, comfortable feeling. But when at last you do understand that sometimes things are meant to go in paths that we are, not comfortable with, it makes you realize that the power that you have to be liberated from the train track, to do what you want to do to make you happy, something you could do right up until the ripe old age of dead, something you could do with a smile on your face, and you could feel like you contributed. You could feel like you were part of a community, part of people, understanding people who are not next to you, not like you, not similar to you, not exact as you. It's just to be out and in it. I can't explain it. And why is it that all of a sudden a life takes a turn which at first looks really bad, and it turns out to be one of the greatest things to ever happen to a person in their existence, to be set free, and then all of a sudden find out that maybe they've got an audience. But the thing is it does take me away from the desk, and it takes me away from the desk a lot. Because sometimes you got to go on test drives to tune carburetors. And you got to make sure that the cooling system is still working properly because you've changed the thermostat in a client's car. And you're doomed to drive around coastal California towns in a vintage Ford Mustang. Truly oppressed. So here's what I'm thinking. Why don't we take the channel off the tracks too? I've been let free. I can't tell you how good it feels. I can't put it into words. It's impossible to explain. So what if instead of going back to the living room, and I'm not saying like we don't do it ever, but what if instead of going back to the living room, we go back to the venues. We go out to the studios. We talk about the weird history that occurs around our towns and cities. We go see new artists that are awesome. They're out there, I promise you. If ever you thought for a moment that rock and roll was dying, I swear to God and the blue sky above that it is not. So maybe start shooting outside, and maybe you guys want to come along. It feels kind of silly sometimes. People have been very kind and they sometimes make a fuss, and I think maybe they're just being polite. But maybe I'm starting to think that maybe I'm not done. We're not done,